You guys, hey, you guys, we're back. We're here. Even though I told y'all we would be back, I think Monday, it didn't happen like that because Scott and I ended up going out of town and eating some rather delicious food. What say you, Scott?
Yeah, it was very good.
It was really good. It was a soul food place. It was amazing. So we're here and I gotta go I gotta be a trooper and go the whole weekend. Scott, we have to go the whole weekend. I gotta give you a super scary Saturday sleepover. I owe y'all Sherlock. I owe y'all always Sunday. We gotta get that Sunday sermon because I can't be married to a man who don't know God. But today we're gonna do Great Expectations.
Huh?
We're going to finish it because I need to clear this off my cache. I need to get it out because I'm tired of thinking about it at this point. And plus, Scott won't stop asking about it. Y'all can thank Scott and blame Scott.
That's me. It's being annoying. Nagging.
He's nagging me. Have you heard that word, Scott? Nagging?
Not till just now.
Period. Okay, so let me pull up my notes because I had to have notes with this because this is a rather long book, guys. Okay, so where we left off, Pip got that surprise visitor. Remember, Scott, do you remember where we were?
Not really.
Do I need to give a recap?
A couple sentences might help.
Well, I don't know the sentences before that.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's been a while, so gotta kind of reset where we're at.
I'm gonna say just watch the old video.
Okay.
Well, I'll give you a little bit. So remember, Pip had become a gentleman.
Right.
Remember, somebody was his benefactor. He always thought it was Miss H.
Right.
And he's down to the London. He's living his life as a bachelor, as a gentleman bachelor. He's learning things, and all of a sudden there's a knock on the door,
Mm-hmm.
and it's Three's Company. I'm kidding. Remember, take a knock on our door. Okay. It is, or I'm sorry, there wasn't a knock. There was a knock on the door. There was a visitor. And he over there acting like he knew Pip. And Pip was like, okay, get to the punchline because I owe all these bills.
It was the dude from when he was a kid.
Yes.
The homeless guy, right.
The prisoner.
Oh, prisoner.
The prisoner. Did I say we doing this book again? So, it was the prisoner. And so Pip is like, oh, what you doing here? So the dude was like, let me come on in because I ain't even supposed to be in London. I'm a wanted man. So he finds out that this man name is Abel Mackwich, but we just gonna call him Abel. And he left after beating his case. So after he met with Pip in the graveyard, remember the police came and was like, we hunting people, we got some people to get. So they caught him, but Abel was able to beat his case with the lawyer that ultimately was the one who was the guardian of Pip money. Remember, he came and he was like, somebody gave you some money, sir. I'm gonna manage it for you and send you over here. So that same lawyer got Abel off of his case. But the one stipulation was, you can't be here, sir. We don't want you in the UK. We definitely don't want you in London. We don't want to see you. If you come back, automatic unaliving sentence, period. It was a little rough out there. So what happened was Abel went to New Zealand. He was down to the New Zealand and he was like, okay, well, what am I going to do? What would you do in New Zealand, Scott, in the 1800s if you had to go there because your country said, get the hell out of here?
What would I do in New Zealand in the 1800s?
What job?
What job would I do?
Yeah.
What
job would y'all do?
Maybe a farmer?
Period. You close. He was a sheep herder.
Okay.
Yes, he was herding them sheep. He was like, yeah. Get over, yeah. like I do my cats when they outside. I don't have a shepherd's staff. I have a broom, period. So anyway, he goes to New Zealand and he becomes a sheep herder. And he was like, you know what? I ain't really got nothing going on in my life for real. I have nothing. Okay. I ain't got nothing. So instead of me taking his money and balling out and get me a house and some clothes and going down to the brothel over there and get me some chicks, I'm going to save up all my money and I'm going to give it to Pip. Since he was so nice to me that one day in the graveyard, I'm going to give it to Pip. And he was like, I'm going to make him a gentleman if it's the last thing I do. So he went on to not spending his money. He lived off of whatever little farmland he was on. He didn't spend none of his money, and he became wealthy because he didn't spend his money. So that tells you something. Back then, they was trying to teach y'all something. Now, don't spend your money. If you want to save, don't spend your money. Rich people don't be spending their money for real. So, you know, he gave the money to Pip because he wanted to make him a gentleman, because he was like, you're a genuinely good-hearted person. I could tell when you bought me the pies, like you stole from your family just to make sure I didn't starve. So I wanted to make sure you became a gentleman because you wasn't living that large, sir. So he, you know, when he came, he had him a bag of coins. This is a glove though. And he tosses it at Pip and it's a bag full of money. And he was like, why don't you go ahead and spend that money right there? Where your horse and carriage at? Where your ride at? So all of a sudden, Abel became a pay pig.
Wow.
Yeah. He was like, spend my money. I want to watch you spend my money. Period. Abel, you can come over here. We can go to the mall, baby. I'll spend all that money. So Pip is like, hold up. Wait a minute. So you the one who put that money? Like you the one who set me up in all this lavish lusciousness? And so Abel's like, yeah, it was me. It's me. Okay, it's me. So Pip was like, oh, okay, I believe you. And he runs right on over there to the lawyer. And he was like, could you tell me who my benefactor is? Because old boy is over here telling me that it's him. And the lawyer was like, yeah, it's him. And Pip was like, so it's not Mrs. H? And the lawyer's like, sir, how many people got to warn you about how crazy she is? Like, sir, you don't even believe, even though you saw her, you had to walk her around that table with that rotten cake. You saw the way she raised that little girl. Right. My cat over there just saying preach. And you still don't understand that Mrs. H don't give a damn about you or anybody around here that smell. You know, that's what he should have said. So, you know, while all this is going on, guess what else he finds out, Scott?
I don't know.
Estella is getting married, but not to him. Estella is getting married to Drummel, that dude he don't like. The one he said is like a spider. Estella's about to go ahead and marry him. Now, Estella came and told him, she was like, but let me tell you something, sir. In the words of Snoop, we don't love them hoes. I don't like this man. I am only marrying him because he has money. And sir, you Pip, even though you fell into some money, don't nobody know how, you need to get your racks up. You need to get your math up. I see them gray sweats. I see a blank check. Shout out to Beyonce. You need to get your money up, sir. You didn't have your money up, so I'm not going to torture you. I'm going to torture him over here. Don't worry about it. Period.
Wow.
But, you know, Pip is brokenhearted. Pip like, damn, she just going to do me like that? Yes, sir. She had been telling you the whole time. And her raggedy mama had told you the whole time she was going to break your heart. What say you, Scott?
Yeah, I mean, what's he gonna do?
He could kidnap her, but I mean,
Why is that the first time?
Well, I was watching this documentary about this crazy man. I forget what his name was. He kidnapped these girls because he wanted a wife. So he was like, I'm just going to kidnap all these intellectually disabled women and keep them in the basement. And I was just like, okay. So I watched that today. And it got me thinking. He could just, oh my gosh, the tea is boiling over. Sorry, y'all. Or the water. It's not tea, it's water. Sorry, y'all. The water started boiling over. So we got that together, though. I'm making Scott some hot chocolates with some marshmallows and whipped cream. We got to get acclimated to this heat. Anyway, so, you know, he's brokenhearted. I don't know. I don't know why. So when Mac comes to tell Pip that, oh, okay. So one of the homeboys come by and he's like, let me tell you something. You know that dude that Abel was fighting out in the graveyard that day when you stole that food from your family and brought it to him? He knows that Abel's here. You know, Abel ain't supposed to be over there. Abel just snuck his little self into the country. We don't know how. We do know why. He wanted to be a pay pig. But, the dude who he was fighting knew that he was there. I don't know how this man knew. Payson is his name. And so he didn't ran his little self over to the police, and he was like, oh my God, Abel's in the country. Ain't y'all supposed to unalive him? Y'all need to find him. He's somewhere in London, and he ain't supposed to be here. So he's telling him that because he was like, we gonna have to move this man. He can't be here with you. Because they kind of following him. They might have got Sherlock to help. I don't know. So, he was like, he can't be in a room with you. We gonna have to move him, and eventually he gonna have to leave London. And Pip is like, well, he kind of my pay. I'm kind of he my pay pig, and he ain't gonna leave without me because he want to watch me spend all his money, which is, is that a little weird? Did a man want to have a little boy spend his money?
It's kind of weird.
Okay, Abel, I trust you, but I got my eye on you. So they had to move him. They ended up moving him to Winmac's girl, Clara, the future wife, the fiance house. They moved him over there, and Pip is like, oh, this is perfect. This is perfect. It's out here by the ocean. So they started strategizing, or it's out here by the water. So they started strategizing how they're going to help this man escape. Because he gonna have to go. He can't stay here. Because he got a hater, which is fine. It's okay to have a hater,
Right.
But not when a hater is telling the police that you in town and you ain't supposed to be there. So they figure out an escape plan. And what they're going to do is Pip and his friend they're going to row every day. They're just going to be out there in a boat, just row in your boat gently down the stream. So people will be used to seeing them rowing the boat. But eventually, when it's time to get Abel on out of there, they're going to go ahead and throw him on the boat. No one will be suspicious because they see them out rowing every day. They're going to be like, oh, they just out there rowing again. They do that every Wednesday or whatever, And so it won't be suspicious. They're going to get him to the steamboat and send him off wherever. They still haven't gotten a full plan, together. So because Pip got to help this man escape, and he still got to pay for Woodmax, how he paying for this man to have a job. Pip is running out of money. Plus, he got this lavish lifestyle. He like rugs. He likes suits. He likes this. He likes that. He running out of money. And so Pip is like, I got to get this money situation together because, more money, more problems. So Pip goes to the lawyer again, and he's like, I got a plan. What do you think that plan is, Scott?
I'm not sure.
He needs some money.
Robbery.
Sky has been watching way too much IDTV. Way too much IDTV. This is a cigar cat. So anyway, so he goes to the lawyer and he's like, do you think I can go to Miss H, Miss Havisher, you know, the crazy lady, her right here, her, the crazy one who won't take this wedding dress off her. You think if I go over there, you know, she'll loan me some money, even though she hate all men, she just cannot deal with men? Why are you shaking your head? Scott just started shaking his head out of nowhere. What you shaking your head for?
Because she don't want to give him no money.
Oh, Scott don't think she gonna give him no money. Now, while this is going on, Pip is over there eating the lawyer's food, because, you know, he probably ain't got no money for food because he just balling out of control. So he over there eating some soup and he accidentally spilled some. And there's a housekeeper, Molly. She look over and she like, ugh. And Pip was like, wait a minute. Wait, hold up. I didn't seen that look before. That's Estella's look. How she look at me when she get pissed off at me. And this is when Pip was like, that's Estella mama. Molly the maid. Estella's mama. Keep that. Don't forget that, because it's going to keep going. And it's going to go fast, y'all. So Pip goes over to Mrs. H's house, because the lawyer was like, yeah, go on over there, ask her for some money. Why you chuckling, Scott?
I don't know. Go do it, see how it goes.
Wait, oh no, I think I took the sticky out, but I found it. Okay. This is going to be a long one. Okay, so Mrs. H was not shocked. Instead, she looked into the fire and said in a dreamy, faraway voice, his father, Matthew Pocket, once gave me some advice. I did not take it, and I have been unhappy ever since. Girl, we know anything you refer to that makes you unhappy is usually about that damn husband that left you at the out. Which, girl, you're over here looking a mess, sis. You're over here looking a mess. Let it go, man. Like, forgiveness is not just for the other person, it's for you too. So you can get up out this dress and get you a new man. So anyway, then she roused herself and asked sharply, if I gave you the money, will you promise to keep it a secret from the Pockets? I gave her my promise. And she wrote a short note to Mr. Jaggers instructing him to pay out the money from her account. I took the note and thanked her. Then as I turned to go, she called to me in a trembling voice, you see how alone I am now? How she deserted me? That's how I imagine her to sound. Like, girl, you wouldn't be deserted if you would just forgive yourself and that man and move on. But whatever, we're here. Here we are in this dress, looking a mess. I answered quietly, it could have never ended in another manner. And though I have avoided reading the newspaper because I did not want to know when the wedding was to occur, I asked, is she married? Mrs. H nodded, yes. My face twisted in pain and heartbreak. Sir, why are you still hung up on her? Let her go, sir. Everybody, you know what this book is about? Not being able to let go. Then she gasped, and her cane fell from her hand. She spoke quietly. I see in your face, Pip, a face exactly like mine many years ago at 20 minutes to 9. I covered my face with my hands until I could regain my composure. Mrs. H was moaning and weeping. When I looked at her, she was rocking from side to side. She was like, yes, I swag, I surf, I swag, I surf. Scott, look, I'm Mrs. H rocking.
All right.
Yes, honey. Okay. What have I done? What have I done? I feel like it's just very dramatic. I wanted to answer that she had ruined my life, but that would only be partly true. I myself have made many mistakes and have had many foolish hopes and dreams, many foolish, great expectations. Forgive me, Pip. Oh, wait. Forgive me, Pip. Forgive me, she pled, holding out her hands. I went to her and took the aged, trembling hands in mine. I do forgive you, I said. She pressed her hands and would not let go, or she pressed my hands and would not let go. I did not mean anything wicked in the beginning, she said. I just wanted to keep Estella from ever suffering as I had suffered. But she began to grow into a beauty, and I praised her and gave her jewels and kept warning her against love. Soon there was only ice in her heart. I detached my hands from her and drew up a stool beside her. Whose child is Estella? I asked quietly, because remember, Molly the maid was over there looking at him like, bam, and he was like, that's Estella, love. That is Estella. Mm-hmm. He know the eyes of the woman he loved in her mama. She shook her head. I don't know. At some point in my wasted life, I'm glad you realize it, honey, and you saying it. I decided I wanted a little girl to love and keep safe from my fate. I told Mr. Jaggers, and he said he would look about for an orphanage. One night, he arrived with a little girl of about 2 or 3. I adopted her and called her Estella. This sounds like Mommy Dearest. Remember Greg the lawyer? Greg the lawyer went on and found her some children. Yeah. He used the Jewish mafia, and I was like, I didn't even know there was a Jewish mafia. Let me stop digging into this story. Y'all, shout out to Mommy Dearest. Go watch that movie if you like over the top, just craziness. Like, go watch that movie. It's awesome. Or read the book. Christina Crawford is based off of Christina Crawford book, and the book is not like the movie. It's 2 totally different entities. They don't even live in the same universe, honey. Okay, anyway, we talked no more. I stayed with her as she fell into a light doze near the fireplace. Then I went downstairs and wondered about the house a bit, for I felt it was the last time I should see it. Suddenly, a terrible scream reached my ears. Scott, what would a terrible scream sound like? I know y'all felt panic because I did. I raced upstairs and found Mrs. H room on fire. She came trotting. This is what she looked like. She was a human candle. Look at her, girl. That dress probably so damn old it caught on fire. She was trotting towards me, flames blazing from her wedding dress and veil. I tore off my coat and wrapped her in it to smolder the flames. She struggled against me, but I held her down, trying at the same time to beat the flames, licking at her hair. All while she cried, "Tell her I forgive her! Tell her I forgive her!" Servants burst in and fought the fire. The doctor was sent for, and Miss H was found to be alive but unconscious. After treating my badly burnt hands, the doctor said there was nothing more I could do there. So I returned to London the next day. Because, girl, you ain't going to make it. Okay, so, what? Why you say wow? Yeah. So Pip got burns on both his hands, which is not part of our row your boat plan. That was not part of the plan there. But Miss H decided she couldn't take life no more. She decided she wanted to be miserable instead of looking and being like, girl, I can give you a sugar baby. Let me get a pool boy before we even got pools. Taking off the dress, cleaning out that house, especially that old cake, letting the clocks be set to the right time, and going and getting her something 25. She didn't want to do that. So I think she wanted to end it because she didn't just want to forgive. Well, she forgave Estella, but not the dude. More to come on that. So Pip gets burns on both hands, and his friends are running his errands for him. But he has to go, that note that he got from Miss H before she burned herself up, before she became JoJo Dancer, Your Life is Calling. Have y'all seen that movie? It's about when Richard Pryor set himself on fire, because that happened. And it shows like the whole to-do, like him pouring some liquor over his head, him taking a match and being like, Booth. JoJo Dancer is Your Life is Calling. Check that one out. That's the old crazy one. And that really happened to Richard Pryor. Anyway, so before she decided she wanted to be JoJo Dancer, Your Life is Calling, he had to take that note to the lawyer, Jaggers. And so he, waited until he was out of pain and he could get up and get going. And he boogied on over there and he got the money to finish paying off Mr. W. And at this point, Mr. W is about to be made partner. Mr. Wormack, he's about to be made partner. And he's about to move to, I think, South Africa because the business had started growing. And they were like, well, you can go work over here. So he about to get married and go and move to South Africa. So everybody's moving along. While he's over there down to the lawyer's office, the lawyer started telling him like, hey, it's time for you to get Abel on out of town because the police are circling in real close. So Pip's hands are still messed up. They still bandaged up because, Miss H decided to be JoJo Dancer, Your Life is Calling. And so Pip enlisted. He already had another homeboy, but then they got another school friend to help him roll on down. So, wait. Oh, okay. So Pip goes to Abel and he's like, look, we got to get you on out of here. I'm going to travel with you and then you got to stay wherever you are. And then I'm going to come back here and spend all your money. So, Abel's like, oh my God, I love that. That's like the best idea ever. You're right. I heard the police coming for me and I ain't trying to get hung. So yeah. And so some kind of way they got to talking and some kind of way Abel was like, let me tell you my backstory. Because nobody knows his backstory. Scott, do you know Abel's backstory?
No, just
a convict. You think he was just born a convict? And that's just, Scott, that's awful. It's terrible. So this is where we start hearing some of them stories. So remember how I said that lady Molly was just looking? She was looking. Well, Molly, we find out as this man is telling the story, happened to be Abel's wife.
All right.
Period. It just gets all kinds of like, I don't know, General Hospital. It starts looking like soap operas. Boom. So Molly the gypsy, and they kept saying she's a gypsy. So she, she's a gypsy and gypsies are hot-headed, which I don't know any gypsies. I don't know if they hot-headed or not. I don't know. But he kept saying she was hot-headed. So the gypsy lady thought he was messing around. So she said, not my man. And so she went on and unalived the woman who she thought was a side chick. Took her out. Not my man. And then she said, hey, and if you think I'm crazy because I murdered your side chick, you gonna really think I'm crazy when I unalive our daughter. So, he's like, she ended up unaliving the woman who she thought I was messing with, which I wasn't messing with her. And our daughter, and he said he since forgiven her. And he said Jaggers is like Johnny Cochran. Jaggers be getting everybody off because Jaggers got the wife off. So boom, period. So later on, but he said he didn't want to be with her no more. He was like, ugh, girl, you're too much. Like I always ask Scott why men love crazy women, and he can't explain it. But I think there is such thing as too much crazy. What say you, Scott?
There probably is.
I think she was too much crazy for him. So he left her, and he met a dude, Compayson. Remember the dude that's snitching on him? He met him. So Compayson was like this gentleman dude. He was faking the funk. He was like, I'm a gentleman out here in these streets. Look at me, I fly. I got my suits and my top hats and whatever. I'm out here in these streets making money. And so, he was like, but really, I'm a con artist. but I'm fly. So all of a sudden, Compayson ended up persuading Abel some kind of way to just do the robbery and crime for him and give him the majority of the money. So Abel, you're not a good criminal, honey, because you would have just kept it for yourself, but whatever. But when he got caught, he just threw him right on under the bus, and everybody, because of the way Compayson looked and his reputation about town, everybody was like, nah, he ain't no criminal. It's Abel, because he looks like a criminal. And also Abel grew up being abused and stuff, and his parents died early, so he was just like a street person. So they were like, nah, the street person probably did it, because perception is everything. And so, he ended up going to prison. So when he got released, Abel got released from prison, he was out there looking for Compayson. And the last he heard about Compayson was the food. He found out that he was swindling some rich woman for her out of her money. And then a few weeks later, he found Compayson at the graveyard, and you saw what happened. It was whoop that trick time. Period. He was going to put hand, feet, legs, and everything else on him. So, Pip is like, wait a minute. That's a Stella daddy. And that maid, Molly, that's a Stella mama. Period. So right now, Pip is becoming Sherlock Holmes in a way. Huh?
More to prove.
What? Scott, he's not becoming Maury Povich. Look at this. Boom, boom, boom. What is it? I don't know which book it is. Is it Great Expectations or is it Sherlock Holmes? I don't know. It's both. So anyway. So, 2 days later, they rolling out. They on their boat. Well, Pip is just sitting there with his hands up, just looking all decrepit. It's like, my hands burnt out. But the rest of them are rowing. They stop to pick up our homie Abel. And, they stop at an inn for the night. They stop and pick up the homie Abel, but they stop at an inn for a night and rest because they got to get all the way to the steamboat. And it's kind of weird because they see two men looking at their rowboat, but they was like, oh, it's just probably some sailors out there just looking at our rowboat. No big deal. Nothing to see down there. However, the next day they get out there and they rowing and they can see the steamboat. It's like right there on the horizon. They're like, yes, we made it. Yes, we're going to get our homie Abel to wherever the hell they were going to send them. But all of a sudden, what you think happened, Scott?
I don't know.
We're going to end it there. I'm kidding. We're going to finish this. Huh? Would you have been mad if I ended it there?
I would have.
Scott's ready to get this thing. Scott's been ready to get this thing over. It's a mess. He just want to go outside and play with the cats. Anyway, here come the police. Here come the police. And they like, stop in the name of the law. Halt, stop in the name of the law. Stop in the name of love. Stop. Halt. And so, they like, shit. They didn't call us. And they're like, y'all are harboring a fugitive of the law, Abel, whatever, Macrovich. Get out of here. He ain't even supposed to be over here. And so they're apprehended. They watch the steamer take off, but it's taking off and coming towards them because they ain't even supposed to be out there. They were supposed to just drop him off and keep going. Abel discovers that somebody is, else is along with the police. Who do you think it is, Scott?
Estella.
Estella crazy. No, she ain't gonna be with the police. It's Compayson.
Oh, Compayson.
He there. So Abel see Compayson and he was like, oh, I see you. I was supposed to, sir, this ain't finished. It is a automatic misunderstanding. Okay? Automatic. When I see you, I'm putting hands on you. And that's exactly what happened. So he go lunging out and getting onto the other boat and beating them upside the head, and they carry on. So whoop, that trick happens again. And boats are tilted over, and the steamer comes and rolls over some of the boats. It's a mess. It is a mess. It is a Houdini magic trick, horrible Titanic-esque mess out there with boats. And so after the fight and everyone is rescued, they realize that Abel has been ran over by the steamer. Now, let me tell you what Abel did, though. While he was fighting Capacin, he took care of him because they found his body a couple of days later. So he took him out, period. Get him. But they realized that Abel had a head and a chest wound because he got ran over by the steamer, which I feel like that's a lot. Steamers aren't small. So anyway, still, it don't matter that he had a head and a chest wound. They did not care. They bandaged his ass up and sent him right on the trial. They sent him to trial. They convicted him. They said, you gonna hang, baby. We're gonna make a little ornament out of you, a human ornament out of you. But, they sent him right on to the prison hospital, to which Pip went to visit every day. And we're going to read this. This is my least favorite part. And this is the part that made me take so long to do this. Y'all ready? This is sad. Dear boy, he whispered, you are always the first visitor into the ward. I wait by the gate so that when they open it, I won't miss a minute of time with you. Thank you, dear boy, and God bless you, he whispered. You've never deserted me. I pressed his hand in silence, for I could not forget that I had once met what I had once met to desert him. Sorry. And what's best of all, he continued, you've seen closer to me since I came under this dark cloud than when the sun shone. That's worth everything to me. He began to breathe with great difficulty, and a film seemed to come over his face. Are you in much pain? I asked softly. I don't complain, dear boy. Those were his last words. He made a weak gesture with his hands, and I understood that he wanted me to lay my hand on his breast. I did so, and he smiled and covered my hand with both of his. The bell sounding the end of visiting hours rang just as the prison doctor entered. He leaned over Abel and shook his head sadly. Then he put a hand on my shoulder, indicating that I should remain seated. I stood with Abel. I understood that Abel was living his last moments, and I leaned over him. Dear Abel, I whispered, fighting back the tears. I must tell you something now. At this last moment, can you understand me? He pressed my hand weakly to indicate that he did. You had a child once, whom you lost. There was a stronger pressure on my hand. She was not unalived as you feared. She lived and found powerful friends. She is alive now. She is a lady and very beautiful, and I am in love with her. With the last effort, Abel raised my hands to his lips and kissed it. Then he let it sink back on his breast again, covered by his hands. A placid look came over his face, and his head dropped quietly to one side. Abel was unalived. I was not horrified by witnessing death so closely. I felt as peaceful as the silent, aged face on the pillow. For while I had not been true to Joe and his friendship, I had found the strength of heart to be true to Abel and remain his dear boy till the end. So the benefactor gone. The poor man then passed away. But let me tell you, he probably got some peace in the end. He ended up getting rid of Caperson, which was a long-term goal for him. He tried to make it a short term, but it was a long term. He also found out that his daughter was not gone. She was indeed alive. And he probably was sitting up there like, Pip gonna marry my daughter, period. Period. But it is sad that that man ended like that. But at least he got his goals fulfilled.
Okay.
R.I.P. to Abel. What you got, Scott?
R.I.P.
So after all this is done, Pip is like, oh, let me go back and pay attention to all these bills I owe. I owe a lot of bills. So he is in a lot of debt. Like Pip is like, oh, snap, more money, more problems for real. I'm in a lot of debt. So, he starts figuring out how he gonna, make this thing happen. So he starts renting out rooms, he starts, cutting little corners here and there. He starts, doing little odd jobs and stuff. He got to hustle now. But not long after he gets started, he becomes super duper ill and has a high fever. And I'm thinking it's because he didn't burn his hands. He's stressed out. He tired. He got all these bills and stuff. He's just going through it. So he's just ill. He can't do nothing. He just got a fever. And I don't know why he left the house, but for some reason he left the house and he's just like roaming the streets, just like ill and coughing and just ain't taking no showers, just not taking care of himself. It's a mess. So all of a sudden, debtors come to get him, but he's so sick, they just like let him lay on the ground. They like, girl, ain't nothing here. Let's just go. So some kind of way he gets back to the house and he's like hallucinating and all kinds of stuff. And one day he wakes up and guess who's there?
Who?
Scott, you supposed to guess.
I've been bad at guessing this game.
That's the point. You're not gonna guess. You're gonna let me tell it. This is
You can tell it.
Joe.
Joe.
Remember his sister's husband?
Oh, yeah.
The one who used to take care of him when he was younger. So Joe comes to nurse him back to health. He was there for a month, and once Pip got it together, Joe told him like Miss H had passed away from her burns and all the money went to Estella. And once Pip got well, he left. He was like, okay, well, cool. You good? Gang, gotta go. And when he left, he left a note, which I don't know if I said this in the beginning. He couldn't write. He was illiterate. He couldn't read or write. He left him a little note telling him goodbye. And also he left a receipt he had paid off the debtors for him, which is like the sweetest thing. It made me want to cry.
Nice.
So things are just getting better. Like not better, but things are resolving. So then after he gets his life in order, he's like, okay, he starts getting them bills down. He's back to good health. Like things are getting back. Pip then starts thinking, I need a woman now. Because I got myself together now. Got all these issues resolved. What woman can I marry? Say it, Sky. You look like you want to say it.
Stella.
You can't marry her. She married already.
Well, I don't know who else is.
Biddy, remember the girl who came to help them? You probably don't. The girl who came to help them once the sister got beat up. This has been a horror one. This is like Tyler Perry's Straw. It's just a lot going on here. So anyway, he's like, oh, I'm gonna ask Biddy to marry me. She was always nice. She always listened to my problems. She always gave sound advice. She taught Joe how to write. She know how to cook and clean. She's that girl. She cute. I'll marry her. So he goes back to where he started, his sister's house. And when he gets there, he sees Joe and Biddy celebrating their marriage, period.
Okay.
Let me tell you the lesson learned here. When you snooze, you lose. When you snooze, you lose. You over there thinking you want one thing and you didn't let the real thing get away from you. That was almost Scott. Scott almost let me get away. Ain't that right, Scott?
Almost.
So, Biddy and Joe thinking, oh, he came for our wedding. And so Pip congratulates him. He's like, you know what? Congratulations. That's awesome. I love this for you. And he really did. Joe deserved it, deserved to be happy. And Biddy did too. So he saw two good people coming together and he was like, you know what? I'm going to just leave it alone. So what he decides to do after that is go work with Herbert. He decided to go to South Africa and take that dude up on the job. So from there, Pip paid off the rest of his debt, whatever little debt he had remaining, and he worked his way up to partner over a few years. And eventually the owner of the firm was like, okay, Pip, you over here congratulating and saying how loyal people are to you. You gonna tell Herbert how loyal you are to him? You gonna tell Herbert how you paid me to get him this job? And so from that point, Herbert was like, I'm your biggest fan. I'm a 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 fan. You my best friend. I love that you did that for me. But Pip is like, dude, you leveled me up. I was over there, eating stuff with a fork, or not with a fork, with a knife. I was doing the most. So, that happens. So 11 years after that, Pip finally returns home. He done got over his heartbreak that he done lost Biddy and Estella and everybody else. He got over his heartbreak. So he was like, let me go visit home and just go see how everybody's doing and show them how I'm doing, And he finds Joe and Biddy's son sitting next to him near the fire, like he used to do when he was a kid. Remember, let me get back to that page. Let me show y'all. Before all this foolishness went down. Oh, wait, that's the sister trying to beat him. They would be sitting there kicking it. Well, now, boom, Joe got his own child. And, he over there, with his own baby. Boom, raising him. And they named him Pip, which I thought was cute. Like, yes, that's your namesake. So Big Pip takes Little Pip and he takes him to, the grave site where he met them, which... it's an interesting place to take a little kid, but and he takes him, to all his favorite spots, the cemetery, all that good stuff. But he brings it back home because he was like, you know where I really, really, really want to go? Miss H's house.
Okay.
He wanted to go there. And let me just go on here and read this for y'all. Before I left London, I went to visit the site of Mrs. H's house. Nothing of the burnt out house remained. Because she was over there pretending, she was over there being JoJo dancing, your life is calling. Only the garden was there, pushing wildly into the space once occupied by the house. I went through the old gate, no longer locked, and sat on a stone bench. Thoughts of Estella came rushing to me. I have heard that her life with Bentley Drummond has been most unhappy. Didn't she say she was going to make that man unhappy? And what about her saying she wouldn't have did everything to make that man unhappy? Unhappy enough to cause her to leave him. And I had heard that he had been unalived in a riding accident soon after. But that had been 2 years ago. And perhaps she has since remarried. I wandered further back into the garden, which looked stripped and desolate in the winter air. The figure of a woman stood forlornly in the moonlight, and hearing my footsteps, she turned. We recognized one another at the same time. Who is it, Scott? Who is it? It's Beyonce.
Okay.
Period. No, I'm kidding. Estella! I cried out and rushed to her. I am greatly changed, Pip, she said softly. It is a wonder that you recognize me. The youthful freshness was indeed gone, but she kept the majesty and charm of her beauty. Her proud eyes were changed also, and now held a soft, saddened look. We sat down on a bench, and I asked if she came here often. No. I came here tonight for the first time to say goodbye to the place. This property was my last possession, and I have sold it. Do you still live abroad, Pip? I told her of my partnership with Carrickle and Company, and she was pleased. I have thought of you often, said Estella, only because he got money now. Wait, I didn't tell myself when to stop. For a time, I could not bear to think of you, of that love that I had thrown away in my ignorance. But now I have given it a place in my heart, she smiled gently. You have always had a place in my heart. Pip, everybody knew that. Dude, hold some back. Hold some back, sir. Just hold just a little bit. Then she gonna come for you, but just hold just a little bit back, sir. I said, taking her hand in mine. We sat in silence for a time. Then in a low voice, Estella said, my suffering all these years has come to be a stronger teacher to me than all other teachers. I have been bent and broken. Oh, girl. Okay. She sound like Color Purple. All my life I had to fight. But I hope into a better shape. Since I must part from you again, I am glad that our parting is taking place here, in a place that I must also part with. I hope you have forgiven me and will be as considerate of me as you once were, and that we shall part as friends. We are friends, I said firmly. For all parting, as for the parting, that remains to be seen. Pip. We rose from the bench, her hand still in mine, and walked slowly away together, leaving the shadow of Miss H behind. That wasn't her only problem. Look at them all. That is the end of this book.
Wow.
Scott, what have you learned? You guys, what have you learned?
Life is full of changes and ebbs and flows, and sometimes it all comes back.
Period. Boomerang. Okay, let me give y'all my lessons learned. You have more?
No.
Lesson number 1: money doesn't create character. Experiencing life with an open mind and heart does. So notice how Pip got all that money and it still didn't create nothing in him. But it was losing, people, betraying people coming and helping him out and doing all these things. That is what created the most character, not just for Pip. Because Estella came back talking about I was bent and broken and beaten and like, girl, okay, girl. What had happened? What he do, girl? Do tell, sis. So life creates character. Money does not. You never know what you might do for someone that will make their day better. Meaning, Pip gave that man a meat pie. He stole from somebody. He was Robin Hood. He stole from one and gave to the other. And it made such a big impact on that man's life that he worked to get that, to make Pip something. Because he saw the good character in that child. So, do something nice for someone. You never know how big of an impact that might make. We are all flawed and looking for atonement. Sometimes we do it wrong and sometimes we do it right. Meaning, Pip was flawed. He kept messing up, but he kept doing right all at the same time. And that is what makes a well-rounded person. Your light and your shadow. So, with that being said, we have finally concluded this book. Oh my God, it's only like 1,000 pages. So we concluded it. I hope everyone enjoys. Did you have any last thoughts to share, Scott?
No.
I'm supposed to say, make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. Scott has not been reminding me. So with that, from wherever we are to wherever you are, peace and love and happiness. And we will see you guys tomorrow because I owe y'all Sherlock and a super scary sleepover. And we'll see y'all Sunday because we got to get Scott Christianized. You got to be a Christian. It's all the rage. It's all the rage. So anyway, we will see you guys later. Bye.